This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you with a website that I usually don't visit often. Actually, I always, as you know me, I'm doing many articles. I'm just intrigued by the title, The Decline of the Upward Mobility in One Chart. And this guy, Marcus Luke, points to actually a pretty visual description of what's going on and how upward mobility is really declining from each generation. Always, I'm going to put a link inside the description, visualpapers.com. I'm going to dive right in. And it starts off with the chart itself, and you can see people born in 1940 and how the silent generation born in the 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980. And each thing you can see a decline going forward. I'm looking at the overall averages. American 30 years old who earn more than their parents at the same age. It looks like it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. And then in 1980, only 5. So you can see the decline just right there in terms of how they do the visualization of people. Decline of mobility in one chart. For decades, the majority of Americans have been able to climb the economic ladder by earning higher incomes than their parents. These improving conditions are known as upward mobility and form an important part of the American dream. However, each consecutive generation is finding it harder to make this ascent. In this graphic, we illustrate the decline of upward mobility over 5 decades using the data from Opportunity Insights. You might want to click on that link. In understanding the chart, the graphic plots the probability that a 30-year-old American has to out-earn their parents, vertical axis, depending on their parents' income, percentile, horizontal axis. The first percentile represents America's lowest earners, while the 99th percentile are the richest. As we move from the left to the right on the chart, the portion of people who out-earn their parents takes a steep decline. This suggests that people born into the upper class families are less, this is interesting. This suggests that people born into the upper class families are less likely to out-earn their parents regardless of generation. And that is a new phenomenon. Okay? The takeaway, though, is that the starting point of this downward trend has shifted to the left. In other words, fewer people in the lower middle classes are climbing the economic ladder. So not only is it the people born into upper class families less likely to out-earn their parents, people born in the lower middle classes are climbing. There are fewer people climbing the economic ladder in general. Declines can be seen across the board, but those growing up in the upper middle class 50th percentile have taken the largest hit. With this bracket, individuals born in 1980 have only a 45% chance of out-earning their parents at age 30 compared to a 93% chance for those born in 1940. Stagnant wage growth, a culprit. One factor behind America's deteriorating upward mobility is the sluggish pace at which wages have grown. For example, the average hourly wage in 1964, when converted to 2018 dollars, is looks like it's $20.27. Compare this to $22.65 average hourly wage in 2018. That represents a mere 11.7% increase over a span of 54 years. However, this may not be as bad as it sounds. While the price of some goods and services have risen over time, others have actually become more affordable. Since January 1998, for example, the price of electronic goods such as TVs and cell phones have actually decreased. In this way, individuals today are more prosperous than previous generations. This benefit is likely outweighed by relative increases in other services, whereas inflation since January 1998 totaled 58.8%. Cost of health and education service increased by more than 160% over the same time frame. Income distribution. While wages have been stagnant as a whole, it doesn't paint the full picture. Another factor to consider is America's changing income distribution. 97% of the U.S. aggregate income, upper 28%, middle 62%, lower 10%. 2008 share of U.S. aggregate income, 48% goes up class, 43% middle, and 9%. Like the data on upward mobility, the middle class takes the largest hit here, with the share of U.S. aggregate income falling by 19 percentage points over the same time frame. The upper class was able to increase its share of total income by 20 percentage points. Is it all bad news? Americans are less likely to earn more than their parents, but this doesn't mean the upward mobility has completely disappeared. It's just becoming less accessible. Below, we illustrate the changes in size for different income classes from 1967 to 2016. And you can see that there in high income upper middle class. I'm kind of breezing over this quickly, but leaving the link so you can look at it at your leisure. The upper middle class has grown significantly from 6% of the population in 1967 to 33% in 2016. At the same time, the middle class shrank from 47% to 36%, and lower middle class shrank from 31% to 16%. The data suggests that some middle class Americans are still managing to pull themselves up into the next income bracket. It's just not an effect that was broad-based as it has been in the past. Does the American dream still exist? The question remains. The American dream is the belief that the upward mobility is attainable for everyone through their own actions. This implies that growth will be continuous and widespread, two factors that have been seemingly deteriorating in recent decades. Researchers believe that there are numerous complex reasons behind America's stagnating wages. A decline in union membership, for example, could be eroding employees' collective bargaining power. Other factors such as technological change may also apply downwards pressure on the wages of less educated workers. Income inequality, on the other hand, is clearly shown by the data. We can also refer to the Gini coefficient, a statistical measure of economic inequality. It ranges from between 0 and 1, with the 0 representing perfect equality and 1 representing perfect inequality. One person holds all the income. The U.S. currently has a Gini coefficient of 0.434, the highest of any G7 country. Long story short, the American dream is still alive. It's just becoming harder to come by. Wow. With the recent unemployment and how things are deteriorating in many states. And again, we're just in a declining base right now. If you ever read anything called The Fourth Turning, it shows where we're at. And I kind of breezed this article pretty quickly, but I'm going to put a link inside the description. It's definitely something to take a look at, definitely something to pay attention to. If this video has been any value to you, please subscribe, leave some comments, hit the like button. And until my next video, I'm out.